So people always telling me, it's too expensive in Thailand now. It's not like it used to be. I'm not going to live there anymore. Is that true?
No.
Let's talk about it. So, I just want to address, this is going to be a housekeeping video. You know what housekeeping is, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to go over some things, corrections and some misnomers, things that people say that isn't necessarily true. One of the things is that it's getting more expensive in Thailand, and some things have gotten a little more expensive. I address this every once in a while, but like if somebody's from Australia, the UK, and Canada, there's a few countries that are really getting hit hard with the exchange rate. The exchange rate is really causing them some challenges. But I've seen the Russian ruble, the Japanese yen, the Korean, I've seen all these currencies fluctuate over the years where it was real strong at one point, then it got weaker, and the US dollar has fluctuated a lot over the years. But right now we're doing good. But if somebody can hang in there and wait it out, they just need to be flexible. I always say be flexible, adjust your lifestyle, and so that you're able to hang out. It's still going to be cheaper and a lot of things better, a lot of things, not just the cost, but a lot of things better. So be flexible and adjust your living conditions to meet what you can afford to spend. Now we're not going to talk about immigration and that stuff yet, but it's always a given when I talk about how much it costs to live in Thailand and how cheap you can live and have a great life. That's already knowing that somebody can comply to the visa requirement, and it's different here than it is in Vietnam, and so they don't have as much obligation financially to try and retire in Vietnam. You know, I get the visa and we go over there and can hang out. And somebody said, business visa to Vietnam, you're saying get the business visa and don't work. And you're going to go to jail or something like that. I know hundreds of people that have gotten, and my visa company gives them out all the time, the people that don't work. And they got a business visa and a company sponsors them. You can create a business and not have to work. I mean, you can work for a company and not even get a paycheck. I mean, so there's a lot of things. So when people say, oh, if you get this business visa for 1 year for Vietnam, you got to work or else you're going to go to jail and get arrested or they'll stop you. If they believe that's cool. They can get whatever visa they want. And speaking of Vietnam, I wanted to mention a couple things because I've talked about it before. Somebody said I said in my Vietnam video that I've got the 1 year multiple entry as an American. And then when I came in, somehow, and I don't go back and look at the video, so I don't know if it's true or not, but they said something, I said that I only got 2 months when I came in. Remember, I've been in Thailand now 18 years, and when I talk about a tourist visa, of course in my mind automatically it's 60 days, 2 months. So, but yeah, you get 90 days. So if you're wondering about that, or there was a question about that, everybody gets 90 days. And there's been reports, somebody told me somebody, came in with that and they actually stamped them for 1 year. And if somebody wants to stay the 1 year, they can go ahead. I'm going to be giving out as a perk, as a bonus, when people become members in the future, a law book of the laws of Thailand, and it's put together by a lawyer. And in that, he constantly says, pay attention to the rules, the laws. And that's why I'm going to give out the book, because people, the foreigners here, need to know the laws. And because he says ignorance is not an excuse. How many times have I gone into immigration in Thailand where I come out and say, wait, they gave me the wrong date on my 90 days or my visa? So, a lot of times. And so if I went by the date, would I be okay or not okay? I don't know, because they say ignorance is not an excuse. Even though it wasn't my problem, I'm supposed to know 90 days or whatever, a year. So if somebody got stamped for a year in Vietnam when they came in and was only supposed to get 90 days and they wanted to stay a year, I think they're risking some challenges, because Vietnam it'll be an opportunity for them to ask for money. You're not supposed to get here. Who cares what they stamped in here? You weren't supposed to be here a year. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that if I said 60 days, it's 90 days, the tourist visa. Now you can get a 1-month tourist visa, but if you're an American, you can get a 1-year Vietnam visa. Then it's 90 days. Every 90 days you got to leave the country and come back in. And so I wanted to mention that. The other thing I wanted to mention was, we just did a video, what was it, a week, 2 weeks ago, something like that, about this TM30 and TM28, and it's been in the news, and I said, don't worry about it, just chill. Well, people are thinking that I meant, don't worry about it, don't do it. And if that's your interpretation of what I said, well, then I'll apologize, because that wasn't the way it was meant to be taken. Now, I've never done a TM30, and I've owned my own place for many years, but I do the TM28. But I understand how people are being caught out at immigration when immigration says, your landlord didn't do it, you need to do it. And so because the landlord didn't do it and you didn't do it, you're going to get fined the foreigner as opposed to the landlord. That's just opportunistic for the immigration to ask for money. And this is creating a lot of these challenges and fears that people have. Now, if somebody owns their own condominium or their own house, so a foreigner can own their own house. If you own your own house or your own condominium, you're supposed to do a TM30. But the crazy thing about that, and why it makes no sense to me, is that I file a TM28 saying I'm living there. It's my address, and then they're saying, well, on top of that, you need to report that you're living there as the owner, which is totally redundant. It doesn't make any sense. But I understand how people want to comply. They don't have a problem, because they can go in immigration and it'll cost them anywhere between 800 and 2,000 baht if they say, well, you were supposed to file and you didn't. So I'm not saying don't file. You got to do what you feel comfortable with. In fact, I'm going to put an infographic together, and I'll try and do it before this video is posted, and there'll be a link where you can go download it, and it'll say, okay, here's your 90-day reporting. Every 90 days you got to report your address. Who has to comply to that, and what are your options for doing it? TM30, who needs to comply, and how do you do it? How do you comply? Some of this will change over time. And then also the TM28, who needs to do it? How do you comply? What's the easiest way, or what are your options? So I'll put the infographic together. Maybe I'll do a workshop on it as well, but I'll put the infographic together and somebody can just download it and use it as a reference. And so I'll do that. But I wasn't saying just ignore the laws. But Phuket's come out, and a lot of what's his name, Gopsap, real smart guy, works for the ministry, and he's come out. They're going to make apps to do this. There's a lot of recommendations just to stop requiring this. They're saying they're going to do away with the arrival card and departure cards when you come in. So there's a lot of changes, and I'll be updating people as we go. And so I just wanted to get that out of the way. That's a little bit of housekeeping. As far as, is it still cheap? It's still noisy, but I wanted to talk about expense. We have a couple members that are spending in Cha'am and in Chiang Mai about $100 US, 3,000 baht for rent. And so people say, well, you can't live cheap here anymore. Well, yeah, you can, and I think $100 is cheap. cheaper than anything we found in Vietnam. Now, speaking of Vietnam and the rent and the cost of rent, it is a little bit more expensive, but the difference that I see and the quality of the places for rent in Vietnam are more Western standards, so they are a little bit more expensive. They're an upgrade from Thai style, so they are a little bit more expensive. The challenge most people are also having in Vietnam is there's no place, really, people don't know really how to integrate with the Vietnamese to find places. Everybody that I know that is getting places are finding them through places that are advertising in English. And of course, just like in Thailand, they're going to be more expensive. And so I just wanted to mention that the rent is still cheap here. We spend about $3 a week on fuel for the motorbike. I think it's, how much is it every year to put the tag and insurance on the motorbike?
800.
Yeah, about 800 baht or something like that. So that's less than $30 for a year. So it's cheap. And food, we're right at the water. I don't know if you can hear, besides listening to these guys playing over here, whether they can hear the water, but the water's right there. And there's places in Chiang Mai, there's places everywhere we go, which this is a style we like to eat when we eat out. Now you can go to a restaurant and eat for double what these meals are costing, 70, 80 baht, maybe 100 baht if people wanted to. And it'd be air conditioned, it'd be quiet, there wouldn't be people playing and making noise and stuff like that. The ambiance would be a little bit different. But when they're not screaming and yelling, we come here really nice with the sound of the water. But anyway, we've got... you've got what's that called?
Yen Tafo.
Yen Tafo, which is a noodle soup.
Yeah.
And what's in that?
Big noodle.
Big noodles.
Yeah.
And what else is in there?
And,
some pork.
Raw meat. Mix.
Yeah, it's mixed. There's seafood and pork, right?
Yeah.
And how much is that soup?
40.
40 baht. And then we've got jok. Jok is a rice porridge with shrimp
Egg.
and an egg. And it's really good. People eat it a lot for breakfast and stuff, but it's really good. And if you got an upset stomach, it's really good because it's easy to digest because the rice is cooked down and also has ginger in it, which is good for your stomach as well. And how much was this with shrimp?
40.
40 baht. Now, if you're wondering, 40 baht is about $1.30, something like that. And I also got kway noodle soup with sen pa mi, which is yellow egg noodles and shrimp. And this one was how much?
40.
That was 40 baht as well. So there you go. And we also, now we normally wouldn't eat all this, but I got it so I could show you because you're probably saying, well, those are noodle soups or a rice soup. This is
Kapao Gai.
Kapao Gai, which is stir-fried chicken with basil. And some pepper, a little bit of pepper, over rice with a fried egg on top. And this one was how much?
50 baht.
50 baht. So that's $1.60, something like that. So it's still really inexpensive. Now, if you extrapolate this out, this is a whole meal. This would be one meal. That's a big plate of food. One meal. So $1.60, you can extrapolate that out times 2 if you have 2 meals a day. Over a month and find out what it would cost. And what else did she have? Khao pad goon, which was 50 as well. And that's a fried rice with shrimp. So there you go. And we're eating beachside, right next to the water. And so great ambiance except for the little kid screaming with his dad playing some kind of game. But other than that, there you go. Just wanted to update you all and do some housekeeping, but also update you on the cost. People saying it's expensive. Now you got to always remember why people wanted to come to Thailand in the first place. And I'll go into a video in the future about what I think, and address it to immigration or to government officials as to, probably titled, "What are you thinking?" Because the whole reason that foreigners come here, they're forgetting about. They think, oh, we're going to be able to do this, this, and this, and these changes and make them jump these hoops, and they'll still stay. But you got to remember the reasons that people are coming here. And that's for a retirement life that's inexpensive and easy. You know, we just want to relax. It's retirement. And when you start making it more difficult and more expensive and everything else, they're losing the value, or they're getting rid of the value that is the whole reason why we come retire here. So they need to keep that in mind. Maybe I'll do a video about that. But anyway, I just wanted to update everybody, and we're going to eat. Anything you want to mention about Vietnam or about here? Or? Yeah, food costs in Vietnam, with the kind of stuff we eat are noodle soups and stuff like that. And how much was the noodle soups when we used to go get pho and stuff like that in Vietnam? How many thousand dong? 40,000? Something like that? And how much is that in baht?
50 baht.
Yeah, 50 baht. Yeah, about the same as what we pay here. Maybe a little more for the noodle soup, but there you go. So hey, the sun's going down. We're going to enjoy our food before it gets too cold. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below. Remember to like and subscribe, and think about becoming a member of our little community. We support people, and we have a private Facebook group where we ask and answer questions of each other and post content on it that's not available on YouTube and stuff. So think about becoming a member. And that's it for JC and Nat. See ya. Hey, JC here. My goal is always to help you get from where you are now to where you want to be, which is probably a life in Thailand. And I know a lot of questions come up about all sorts of things regarding insurance and vehicles, transportation, housing, relationships, getting licenses, all that stuff. And I want to help you by answering as many questions as I can. And if I can't answer them, then I'll reach out to you personally. But I'm going to leave a link in the description to where you can click on that and be able to tell me what it is that you're interested in and what kind of information, and I'll be able to try and answer it, because I'm probably not going to be able to answer it within the YouTube comments anymore because of time constraints. It's just getting to be too much of a task to go through all the comments. So if you have a question, direct it to me. There'll be a link in the description, and I'll be back in touch with you to try and get as much relevant information to you as I can. Remember, when it comes to getting the information you need about retiring in Thailand, there's always an option. See you, JC out. Hey, JC here. If you like that video, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel here. Also, we have another video up here you're going to be really interested in watching as well. And if you're looking for all the details of how to retire in Thailand in one place, plus a group of people to support you, check this out over here. Give it a click.